This is CBN NewsWatch.
Thank you so much for joining us for CBN NewsWatch on this Friday, November 7th. I'm Ephraim Graham. We're going to begin this half hour with news from the Middle East. Israel launched its largest attack on Hezbollah's infrastructure in Southern Lebanon. It happened Thursday, and it's the largest since the 2024 ceasefire. As Chris Mitchell now reports from Jerusalem, the escalation signals Israel's determination to prevent the Iranian-backed terror group from rebuilding its arsenal of weapons.
The Israel Defense Forces say they've completed a series of strikes on Hezbollah infrastructure and weapons facilities in southern Lebanon. The IDF says Hezbollah is working to reestablish its terrorist infrastructure and poses a clear and present danger to the state of Israel. Before the strikes, the IDF issued an evacuation warning in order to prevent civilian casualties since the weapon facilities are in the middle of populated areas. A Knesset briefing reportedly warns that Hezbollah, with help from Iran, is rebuilding its military strength faster than Israeli strikes can stop it. The impacts of Israel's 2023-2024 military campaign are fading, and that Hezbollah continues to smuggle in weapons through Syria and by sea, and is also producing its own arms. The IDF says the attacks are just a preview of what's to come if the Lebanese army doesn't fully disarm Hezbollah. On Thursday, Lebanese President Joseph Aoun condemned the bombings, but said that negotiations are the only way to end the nearly daily Israeli attacks on his country. The U.S. is pressuring the Lebanese government to disarm Hezbollah, but in an open letter, Hezbollah says it will resist any attempts to disarm it and warns Beirut against negotiations with the, quote, Zionist enemy. Meanwhile, the IDF released documents that chronicle the incestuous relationship between Hamas and UNRWA, the United Nations Relief and Works Agency. The IDF uncovered details of Hamas operatives employed by UNRWA and documents revealing Hamas's use of UNRWA, just the latest evidence of how the UN group and Hamas have worked hand in hand. But amid the concerns about terrorism, there was also some hopeful news. President Trump announcing on Truth Social that Kazakhstan would be joining the Abraham Accords. The president posting, Kazakhstan is the first country of my second term to join the Abraham Accords, the first of many. Blessed are the peacemakers.
And Chris Mitchell continues our coverage now with us. So, Chris, Kazakhstan is now in the Abraham Accords, as you reported. What nation might be next?
Well, President Trump, in a speech last night, he made a big hint that it might be Saudi Arabia, might be the next place, the next country into the Abraham Accords. He said that at an event with in the presence of the Saudi ambassador to the U.S. One obstacle for Saudi Arabia joining the Abraham Accords, Ephraim, would be the recognition of a two-state solution. It seems like Saudi Arabia wants some, at least language, that there would be a Palestinian state, perhaps with the Palestinian Authority. That's what Saudi Arabia wants, but Israel does not want the Palestinian Authority to play a part in any two-state solution, and they don't want a two-state solution by any means, especially after October 7th. So there may have to be some sort of compromise, perhaps on both Saudi Arabia and Israel, to open the door and to make that possible. But that's probably the biggest nation right now that would be on the eve of maybe joining the Abraham Accords.
Chris, how serious is the situation in the north?
Well, very serious, and some people think that it might be there might be a prelude to actually the IDF going into southern Lebanon in a major way. Right now, they actually have 5 separate spots within southern Lebanon that they are holding, and they have held since the ceasefire from November of 2024. So that's an expectation. There might be a ground incursion by the IDF to actually go ahead and dismantle Hezbollah. It's a difficult situation for the Lebanese government. There are some elements of the government that want to disarm Hezbollah. But it's not clear they either have the ability or, to some extent, the political will to go ahead and disarm Hezbollah. It's not easy. The Lebanese army doesn't either seem to be willing or capable of disarming Hezbollah. And one Lebanese Christian member of parliament said that Hezbollah right now is insisting on dragging the country into another war. He says that's unacceptable for a minority like Hezbollah to really hold the rest of the country hostage. But Israeli officials are warning what might happen if Hezbollah does not disarm.
What is the situation now with Hamas inside Gaza?
Well, right now we have the remains of 6 hostages still yet to be returned as part of the ceasefire deal. It seems Israel is believing that Hamas is stalling. There's also a notion, and this is very troubling to some people, Ephraim, is the notion that Hamas may not have to disarm. I think that was raised by an Egyptian official. That's very concerning to people here in Israel. Also, right now, there's 200 Hamas terrorists trapped inside Rafah, and that's inside the so-called yellow line that is controlled by the IDF. And right now, we're on the cusp of phase 2. And after phase 1, after all the remains of the hostages would be released, would be disarming Hamas. Now, whether or not that's going to happen and who's going to be doing that remains to be seen. There is a UN resolution that's been drafted and submitted by the United States establishing what's called the International Stabilization Force, and that would be a peace enforcing force inside Gaza to be able to help disarm Hamas.
Let us know now what we can expect on today's edition of Jerusalem Dateline.
Well, an update on the latest news as well, but also we have interviewed Tricia Miller. She's head of CAMRA. That's a sort of a watchdog journalist organization, and she's talking about Christian Zionism. It's really in the news in the last few days. She's telling us what it is, and really it has a long history, 2,000-year history of Christians supporting the formation of a Jewish state here. Lance Wallnau is going to be talking about Christian Reformation. We also have a story by CBN Israel that does what it can to reach out to help Israelis in many ways. All these going to be on tonight's Jerusalem Dateline, Ephraim.
Look forward to that. Our CBN News Middle East Bureau Chief Chris Mitchell, thank you so much for your insights. Of course, we'll be back in with you come next week. You can see Jerusalem Dateline this evening at 8 Eastern. You can find it on the CBN News channel. You can also watch it on the CBN News app, and it's available on YouTube as well. Here at home, U.S. airlines in more than 40 of the country's biggest airports canceled hundreds of flights. It's all due to the FAA's order to reduce traffic as a result of the government shutdown. This affects airlines in several states, including New York, Los Angeles, and Chicago. The FAA is seeking to reduce service by 10% across these airports to maintain safety as air traffic controllers show signs of strain from the shutdown. Turn now to Kentucky and the site of a deadly plane crash that killed at least 13 people. A candlelight vigil was held last night in Louisville to remember the victims and to thank first responders. Today, the search for answers continues as officials warn the death toll is still expected to climb. Federal investigators say the left engine of the UPS Flight 2976 burst into flames moments after takeoff, then broke midair, sending the plane plunging to the ground.
What this scene is violent. We do not expect to find anyone else alive in the area.
This is what's left, a debris field stretching nearly a half-mile long. The National Transportation Safety Board investigators are now combing through the wreckage, focusing on the engine's flight control systems and the plane's maintenance history. The plane's black boxes have been recovered and could hold the critical clues needed to explain what went wrong in the final moments of Flight 2976. Coming up, a special look at the upcoming Global Day of Prayer Youth Evangelism. Stay with us. You're watching CBN NewsWatch. The youth organization Dare to Share is calling on young people to rise up and share their faith to bring hope to their generation. It's all part of the Day of Global Youth Evangelism happening November 8th. Lucille Toulousan tells us more about this one-day youth-driven revival meeting to boldly proclaim the gospel.
Evangelism accelerates the discipleship process like nothing else does.
Youth groups, churches, and families worldwide will gather on-site or online Saturday for the Global Day of Youth Evangelism with the theme Be Like Jesus. Organized by Dare to Share, special video-based material available in English and Spanish will feature inspiring messages and practical training to prepare young people to share their faith.
The Day of Global Youth Evangelism is that day in the year when we call on the youth all over the world to really gather together in their respective countries, churches, communities, even their homes, as led by youth leaders. We will equip them. We will mobilize them. The best way to invite young people is to show them something bigger than themselves. They want change. They want something true. The church should start becoming that church that is authentic, sensitive to what they really need.
A highlight of the event is the Life in 6 Words gospel model.
First, God. God created us to be with Him. O, our sins separate us from God. S, sins. Sins cannot be removed by good deeds. P, paying the price for our sin, Jesus died and rose again. E, everyone who trusts in Him alone has eternal life. And L, life with Jesus starts now and lasts forever.
Pastor Eric Totañez sees this as a mission to rescue a lost generation and remind them that life, hope, and eternity are found in Christ alone. Dare to Share rallies young people from every nation to be equipped, empowered, and be part of a generation that stands bold for Jesus, bringing the good news to the world. Lucille Talusan, CBN News, Tokyo.
And you can find out how to join the Day of Global Youth Evangelism tomorrow by going to cbnnews.com. Thousands of college students made decisions to give their lives to Christ. It happened in Cincinnati, Ohio this week at the latest event held by the ministry Unite Us. Some 5,500 attending sang and danced in praise in Heritage Bank Center. The ministry reports thousands in the audience made a first-time decision to follow Jesus Christ. Hundreds of others were baptized outside in the parking lot. Over the past 2 years, Unite Us has held events at college campuses across the country. CBN has produced a documentary on the movement. To find out how you can watch it, simply go to therevivalgeneration.com. Still ahead, we are exploring the world of entertainment with a special look at Sarah's Oil and unexpected Christmas. Stay with us. You're watching CBN NewsWatch. Welcome back now to CBN NewsWatch. The weekend is here and it is time for some family fun at the theaters. One film to see is Sarah's Oil. It tells the true life story of Sarah Rector, known as the youngest black millionaire. I had the chance to talk to the actors bringing this faith-filled story of Sarah's Oil and her parents to light. Naya Desir Johnson, Kenrick Green, and Soniqua Martin Green.
My name's Sarah Rector. The state gave me 160 acres on account of my ancestors, and there's oil on it.
Well, how do you know that?
God gave me the ears to hear it. Do you hear it, Blue? There's oceans down there.
Naya, I'll start with you. How would you describe Sarah, and why did you want to play her?
I wanted to play Sarah Rector because she's amazing.
I've never seen anything like it. That field you're sitting on could be the richest in all Oklahoma.
I felt like there's so much I can say about her, that she's brave, she's ambitious, and she still loved her family. And the best part about that is that they supported her.
I'll give you 20 bucks an acre.
I ain't selling.
You want a war?
Most of the kids that I know, their families don't really support most of the choices that they make. And I think it's really important to have a family that will believe you, that trusts you, and they don't question every single one of your choices. And Sarah Rector's family, they did question her, but they believed her in the end because this is something that she was right about. And if she didn't push, she might have been killed at an early age. And she might have not become the first Black girl in America to be a millionaire. And there wouldn't have maybe for many, many years to come. So I think it's just awesome that I was chosen to play her, because this is amazing.
Taniqua, you played Rose Rector, Sarah's mom. So you read the script for the first time, or the book, or you hear the story. What are your thoughts immediately following?
We've been talking a lot about just what a wonder it is that this story is not known. I had seen that picture that circulates, which is actually not her, right. We found that out, from her descendants. I had seen that picture, but I had never heard the story. And there was so much about the origin of the state of Oklahoma that I didn't know. There was so much about natives and enslaved Black folks that I didn't know. The Dawes Act, I did not know. This is serious American history, serious Black history that I think was deliberately hidden. So that was the first thing, was like, I'm sorry, what?
We're dealing with some mighty devious folks over here.
Then we need to fight for what's ours.
Is that why I see dynamite?
That's my oil!
No, it ain't!
I would not do that if I was you. You took the liberty of wiring up your wells just in case you wanted to do something foolish.
Then, being able to bring the Rectors to life, Rose was really integral in Sarah's life once they came into the well. Once Sarah, took possession, got the oil, her and Rose had a really fantastic relationship as mother and daughter, but also professionally speaking. And they worked together to build. And that was another thing that really touched me. How the family interacts with each other, how the community comes together, the faith forwardness, the courage of this girl, how she led her family to a whole new life and solidified herself in history. All of these things blew my mind and blew my heart. And us being able to do this together was the other big thing, man, that just answered prayer. Like, it was phenomenal.
I love it. So husband and wife on screen, husband and wife in real life. Kendrick, you play Sarah's dad. What do you think guides and bonds this family in such a fierce fight? I was just struck by the unity that we're seeing.
Yes, I think in a word, faith. Faith is the glue. I think without that, this story does not play out in the way that we've come to understand it. And to get to walk that out in the Rector's shoes, as with my real life wife and with our new surrogate daughter here, right? It was just it was a dream to be able to do that. And so there's the togetherness in the story, and it really translated off camera in between takes between the three of us and Adion, who played Junior, and it's beautiful how it all took place, and God was there with us in between takes too, and that's how it all came together, and how the Rector family was able to overcome all of the adversity they experienced in this time.
When the land had only weeds and lizards, it was all mine. But when people found out there's oil lines, they started thinking it's theirs. All I'm asking is to keep what's mine.
Her name is Sarah Rector, and you're going to be hearing a lot about her.
Sarah's Oil is in theaters nationwide right now. And speaking of films, there is something new to jumpstart the holiday season. The movie Unexpected Christmas also hits theaters today. It's a combination comedy and drama that follows a family who comes together for a Christmas reunion. Things seem to be going well until chaos ensues. Secrets are revealed and rivalries are resurrected. The film has an all-star cast, including Tabitha Brown, Anna Maria Horsford, and Rico Ross. Here's a look at the movie and my conversation with Rico Ross.
So what is it that you do, Richard?
Well, Richard is an emergency physician, and he has plans to take over the family business once his father retires. Isn't that right, baby?
Dang, girl. Can the man speak for himself? I mean, come on. Go ahead, baby. You tell us what you want to tell us that you do. What? You know I'm right. Please forgive my cousin. Forgive me. Is he Jesus? Are you Jesus?
Well, she did say he was a doctor.
What was it about this story that brought it to you and made you say yes?
This character is he meets a woman and it becomes a blended family, and he comes with his daughter. And it's very similar to my family. I have a blended family as well. Okay. I came with 2 kids, and my wife came with 2 kids. And so it's and some of the issues that were happening in the movie are real life issues that happened in my family. So it was not a stretch for me at all.
Unexpected Christmas is in theaters nationwide. Stay with us. Your Friday Faithful is coming up next. Time now for your Friday Faithful, and today I want to leave you with this thought as we wrap another week together. Faith without works is not faith at all. If you have faith, you must take action. Trust God and make a move. And guess what? When you move, He moves. With that word, I encourage you to make this a Friday filled with faithfulness. And be sure to have yourself a wonderful weekend. Well, that will do it for this edition of CBN NewsWatch. Remember, you can always find more of our news programs on the CBN News channel. You can find them there at any time as well as online. That address is cbnnews.com. We'd love to know what you think about the stories you've seen here today. You can email us, newswatch@cbn.com. You can also reach out and touch us on Facebook, Instagram, and X. Of course, that is formerly known as Twitter. Hope you'll join us again right here next time. Make it a fabulous Friday. We'll see you back here come Monday. Goodbye. God bless. Thank you so much for watching.